Most people don't know what's holding them back, but you do because you listen to me, Sam, your self-care guru and journal junkie. Welcome to Journal Entries, your safe place where you can tune in weekly to get tips, tricks, and journal prompts to uncover your feelings, gain clarity, and make your move. Hello, welcome to this week's journal entry. I get super interested in random topics from time to time. And this week, I'm going to talk about a topic that I've been interested in for about a year and a half. So it's been a while. It takes all of that and where the planets were in the sky. So it's like astrology, and combines chakras in the body to create a personal body graph. It actually involves like 7 different things, like astrology, chakras. I think I have the list somewhere. It's a whole bunch of things that creates an energetic blueprint, or a human design chart is what they call it. And there are 5 main energy types. There are projectors like myself, and I'm going to give a quick name for each one just so you can kind of get a feeling for what each one is, and then I'll go into more depth in case you do know what yours is. So projectors are the guiding forces. Generators are the magnetic creators. Manifesting generators are the multi-passionate geniuses. Manifestors are the bold visionaries. And then reflectors are the mystical mirrors. So let's dig into projectors. I've got a soft spot for you guys just because I am one. So we are the seers and the guiders of the world, not necessarily the doers, even though a lot of projectors get stuck in the hustle culture, like me. But as a projector, we are here to tweak and improve the world in a very specific way that only we know how, and it's different for each projector. We have a gift of seeing something in a different way that others can't. And so it might be like reading into people, or devising systems, or designing new ways of doing things, or, guiding people to journal through their emotions or something. So success as a projector comes when you know what that uniqueness is and you get to share that with others. So projectors guide and provide our wisdom and leadership from taking in what everybody else is doing to help direct everybody else. Generators, you guys are here to generate good energy in the world, which happens naturally when you're excited and happy. Because when you are excited and happy, it creates a surplus of energy that spills out of you and into everyone else and everything that you touch. It's like that cup analogy where when you fill good things into your cup and you're feeling good, the only thing that can pour out of you when you're feeling good is goodness. And it's even more so when you are a generator. When you are lit up, people can't get enough of you, and they will want whatever it is that you're doing or creating or drinking. And because of this, you should do what you love, because when you do, everybody wins. Next up is manifesting generators. You guys are the ultimate multi-hyphenate. This population is passionate about lots of different things, and they likely do them all. But manifesting generators, their lives are never linear because they do have so many ideas and passions and things that they like to do. They often create new ways to do them, and they chart new paths. And they show the world what's possible by breaking the norms. So if you are a manifesting generator, a tip for you is to not force yourself to live by the status quo, to do what the Joneses are doing. Follow your creativeness and the excitement inside of you. Next is manifestors. You guys are the trailblazer, here to create movements, whether you intentionally try to or not. Your energy can't help but to be felt when you walk into a room, and the universe sends you urges when it wants you to act. So you might feel, if you're a manifestor, like you are going at 200% and full force, or you're recuperating until you get your next surge, idea or bout of energy. So if you are a manifestor, honor your impulses and when you feel that surge, because they are rare and special and something that you should act on when you feel it. Last but not least, reflectors. You guys observe and absorb life to a level that the rest of us can't. You have the greatest potential for wisdom, and it's because you guys are the true mirrors. If you think reflector, they're reflecting, right? They are the true mirrors for society, here to show people who they really are. This population is only, I've seen different numbers, anywhere from 1 to 4% of the world is a reflector. So this is a really rare one. I'm going to go on into productivity and decisions. But real quick, if any of this is interesting to you and you want to learn about making quicker decisions by journaling through your human design, head to the link in the show notes to watch a class that I just recorded. We go over the human design and what it is and more nitty-gritty stuff and more specific examples of who I was before I learned all of this. Like, a lot of this is just like, oh, that's cool tidbits of information. But I truly was a different person that just like hemmed and hawed over all decisions and like never spoke up. And then once I learned my human design, it was like I was granted permission, especially journaling through the past and like memories that I've had and then aligning with it and seeing how I can use this going forward. It's just like a huge transformation. And so if you're into that and you want to learn like how to journal through it, then click that link in my show notes. You can hop in and watch that class that I recorded. Moving on to productivity. So the whole thing about human design is to feel aligned. And when we are thinking about productivity, it's less about like how much work should you be doing and how can you turn inward, tune into yourself, and be more intentional. So, like being productive by being intentional. So, here's what you got to do for each type. Projectors, we inherently know the best way to get things done because, again, we absorb from everybody else out there and then we guide. So, for us, the best way to be quote unquote productive is by trying to let it be easy, not overcomplicate. And also, we need a lot of rest. Projectors should try to not necessarily be productive. It's the least productive thing that they can do to try and be productive because then they get caught up in hustle culture. And so knowing that rest is okay and super beneficial, and that rest also has nothing to do with laziness. So projectors are more productive when you rest more. Generators, you are more productive when you tune into what is exciting you right now. Your excitement is pointing you to the task that you're meant to be doing right now. Manifesting generators, they do it all. They're the multi-hyphenate. So for you, being productive is doing lots of different things at the same time. So if you feel like you're not, start asking yourself, what can you do that excites you that you can start, exploring and doing? Manifestors sit back and relax, kind of like a projector. But the difference is until you get an urge. When you feel that urge, follow it, go do it. And reflectors embrace the vibe of the day. Whatever energy you're feeling is the energy that you need in this day, which I find really interesting. So that's how you can be a little bit more productive by being intentional with your human design. And I'm going to quickly go over the different authorities. Your authority is essentially the decision maker. It's how you should be making decisions in a way that will help you feel aligned based on who you are, your blueprint. And it's really important because we are all so different. So there's one type of person who needs tons of time to make a decision. And if you're listening to this and thinking, oh, that must be me because I take forever to make decisions, it's probably not you. It's only 1% of the population that needs a ton of time to make decisions. I thought I was that person, and I'm not. And once I learned what I was and started making decisions in that way, I make decisions so fast and it feels so good and freeing. And I'm never in decision paralysis or decision fatigue anymore. It's incredible. So then there are other people who should be making decisions much quicker in the moment. And then others who should be bouncing their thoughts and opinions off of other people and hearing like feedback before making their decision. So it's important to know what yours is because it's not all the same. And once you do know it, then you can journal through it to see how have you made decisions in the past? What decisions do you have coming up? And how can you align with yourself, with your human design to make decisions quicker that feel better and you feel confident in them. You're not doubting the decision that you made. The decision piece is where I have noticed the biggest transformation. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably heard this story, but I took 6 months to decide if I wanted to quit playing soccer. And it was a huge decision because I played soccer growing up and I thought I was going to disappoint my parents and my team and myself. And I was like, I don't know. And I was going back and forth. But after learning my human design, I learned that I'm the type that I get this like ping of an answer immediately followed by fear and doubts and questions and what ifs and all of that. And so after learning that, I went back to this memory because it's one of my biggest memories of like why I felt like I was a horrible decision maker. I've always said that I'm a horrible decision maker. You choose where we go to dinner. So I went back to that moment and instead of judging myself, like, oh, it took me so long to make that decision and it felt so heavy every day, I just felt so much compassion for myself. And also, like, it made sense. Like, of course, that's how I reacted because that's how I was designed. If we're going along with human design, I felt the answer, like, I don't want to play soccer, but then I didn't listen to it. I likely wasn't even in tune with myself and I just waited. And in that waiting period, it filled with doubts and, the 6 months worth of waking up every morning, just not looking forward to making this decision and then letting everybody know. And ultimately, I did end up quitting, but I just felt so much more compassion for myself. And I felt like I knew I didn't want to play soccer. Like I could have trusted that little voice. And that is like so empowering. So, yeah, so that's a little moment of like looking back, but now going forward. So, I'll share this with you. I don't go on many dates, but I went on a date and I met up with this guy and I was texting with him for a while before and it was fine. And I met up with him in person and almost immediately we ordered our drinks. And then I think we like both took a sip. Actually, he got there before me and already was like one in by the time I got there. And almost immediately, I was just like, nope, this isn't it. It was like an out of body experience. Saw it happening and I heard it and I was just like, all right. I just didn't question it. And, I stayed on the rest of the date and I was like, I'm just going to have a good time the rest of tonight. But I just knew. And we did not continue talking afterwards. And I'm like, yeah, no, I don't need to. I trust myself enough now to know that that is the right decision for me. Onward and upward. So it has just been really incredible learning all of this. And I'm excited for you to learn it. Again, if you are interested in this woo-woo stuff like I am, click the link in my show notes. The class that I did is called Design and Decide. I also offer a call if you want an emotional design audit for your life. So that's super exciting. I'll share more information on that. At the very least, I would love for you to go find out what your human design is. I'll share a link for that in the show notes as well. And message me on Instagram, samantha.s.says. I would love to hear what your energy type is. Excited to get your messages. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next week. Thanks so much for tuning in to this week's journal entry. I love connecting with my listeners, so make sure you screenshot this episode and tag me on Instagram at samantha.s.says so I know you're listening. And don't forget to grab your free training and journal prompts at www.samanthapenkoff.com/podcast.